To sketch an alias, we have to turn on the sketching tools. We can do this by either going to workflow and going to paint, which moves you into the paint workflow basically. That means we have the marking menu adjusted to the painting tools, and some of the other elements are adjusted as well. However, I would like to remain inside my modeling workflow and simply see the painting tools. To do that, we can go to Preferences menu and simply turn on long menus. To be able to draw in Alias, we have to create a canvas. So we can click Canvas, New Canvas. And for example, we can call this one whatever we want. Front sketch, for example. Oh, this is interesting. Front sketch. Then you can set the orientation. Now, of course, this should be in front, but you can also back, left, etc. And you can decide the background color. And then actually something I have to point out, if you, for example, go to letter, you see 8.5 by 10.98 and 101.6. Now, what I rather would do is actually go to custom. We all sketch either on tabloid or we sketch on letter. So for example, let's set this one to 11 by 8.5 by 100 dpi. If in Photoshop, for example, we sketch in 150, we do it that way. So, but for the moment, I leave it at 100 dpi and click OK. And for example, there now you see there's our sketch. So it's an object. We can, for example, select it. We can also move it. If we go to information window, you see the origin. This, for example, was rotated to go into front view. So you see it's just, actually it's like in Blender, it's an image empty. So when we go to paint, we can actually simply paint on it. So the paint tools, here we have pencil, ink, airbrush, some erasers, felt tip, and such tools. It's not necessarily bad, but I would say if you have access to Photoshop or Sketchbook Pro, I would rather use those programs. I think they're a little bit more mature. Now the way how the canvas actually works, it's basically, it has, as you can see, layers. So we can actually, nope, sorry, those were the documents layers. The layers I meant are inside, where are they? Editor, canvas layer editor. So they're using layers. So let's select this object. And here, for example, you see I can turn on and off. I can also make a new layer. And for example, here, sketch something. So then where this can be really handy is when you're working on an object, on a design, and you create a canvas. So inside the software, you can make some profile studies, for example, for a different handle or such. And then you can flip between different ideas or show them. That's, for example, one area where this actually might be really usable. Now, when you sketch something and you would like to scan it in, for example, at this point, let me go to Sketchbook Pro. You see here I have one page and I made sure that the dimensions are all the same, 8 by 8.5 by 11, 100 dpi. We can bring this sketch from Sketchbook Pro actually over into Alias, and I saved it already. So I'm going to Alias, new image layer. I think the test 5 is the document. Yep. Open. And there now you see actually the image being loaded. So that's a very, very easy way how to do this. Now let's go actually and make something new. Let me actually for a moment go to here, and then I'm copying this one. I'm creating a new document, and actually this one, for example, this canvas, I change to maybe 2 inches by 8. Oops, wrong key. 8 inches. Okay, that was not correct. So maybe 3 inches there. Okay, I didn't measure the document size, so I have to actually guess this right now. Okay, so I think what did we say? This one is 3 inches. Yeah, good. So let's say you have this sketch and you want to bring this one over, but how do you establish scale? Well, we could, for example, create ourselves somewhere here a line. For example, this line here should be 3 inches. I'm going to save this one, test image 9, for example. Okay. And let's go to here, import canvas image and test image 9. Go. There we are. Now I have to figure out the correct size, for example. And oh, whoa, it actually brought it into this canvas, which is not what I wanted. See, it loaded it as a layer, but I actually wanted to have this one as a separate image. There. Now this is really large. Now the problem we have is how big is this one? And let's assume this line is really 3 inches. Then, for example, we can scale this one down. We could, for example, somewhere make ourselves, for example, a line, which, let's say, kind of like right now, is 3 inches long. Or, for example, we could use the grid. And then this canvas, we can actually, for example, move to somewhere and see, continue scaling till, for example, we roughly get to the same proportion, and this way we know this image now is a little bit more or less to scale. Now keep in mind, sketches are always meant to be kind of like a helper to establish an idea, but you know, when we zoom in, those lines are really thick. You could work with 300 or 400 dpi sketches, but that might slow down programs. So this, while being a little bit low-tech in adjusting this image, is actually pretty usable, because I still can get the basic shape or proportion, the design intent, and then continue with the alias surfacing tools, creating my object around it. I hope that this actually provided you with a brief introduction into how the sketch things work in Alias. Again, you have to use a canvas, which you can define size-wise with new canvas. You can, through the canvas layer editor, load different images or segments into a canvas, and canvases can also be moved around and rotated and placed on layers because they're simply nothing else than objects.